Welcome. We're back with another live stream edition of the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
It's been a little while. Apologies for the break. We had a few.
Time.
Sorry?
I have dead friends with me. That's how long we've been waiting.
Oh, wow. Okay. No, in reality, everything's been good. It's just that I've been absolutely flat out celebrating Jodie's birthday. We've had family coming and going from all over the country, so it's made things rather difficult over the last few weeks to sort of accomplish anything aside from do the day job and be with family, basically. So apologies all, but we're back into the swing of things between now and the end of the year. We're going to be trying out a new format tonight, and if you've been following us, you'd have seen our Deep Cuts release on Tuesday night on YouTube and on Spotify and that as well. So check that out if you want to get more information. We're going to be doing a new format thinking tonight. But before we get started things, just so you get a rough idea, we're going to talk about, like I said, a new format, but we're going to chat about some new songs, each of us, along with some news and stuff that's been going on. We're going to review a classic from System of a Down later on tonight as part of the Patreon Choice Classic Album Review for this week. And we're going to play some Overrated, Underrated soon, as well as we're going to call this, Battle of the 50-Year-Old, something like that. So we're going to be doing this little round-robin battle thing coming up over the next few weeks. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but we'll see how it all shakes out. We're trying something new, but we'll see how it all goes. Make sure you give us your thoughts as always. Special thanks to our fantastic sponsors in Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance. Thank you for their support. Their details, just like ours, in the description box of this episode. So make sure you hit those links to follow them, follow us, and all the usual stuff that everyone gets you to do. That's pretty much the preamble of things to get into. What do we got here? We've got some comments already here. So Nicole is here saying, evening all. Thanks for joining us again, Nicole. Saw your comment on the Deep Cuts post before too, so thanks for checking that out as well. Dean is here as well saying, hey, you gutsy rockers and rollers. Good to see you again, buddy. Hopefully you're keeping well out there too. Terry's joined us once again saying, hi, guys. Good to see you too. Good to see the regulars jumping in. Same with Rowan. Good to see you. And your comment the other day on the Deep Cuts was an absolute pisser, so we'll be addressing that.
Was funny.
That was funny. I'll be addressing that on Sunday when we film that one for release on Tuesday. And David's here as well. Good to see you again, buddy. G'day, guys. All the best. Thank you. We're back. We're into the swing of things. Let's have some fun with this tonight. Links for music and that we're talking about in the description box as well. I'll share them in the comments as we go through things. But yeah, just make sure if there's anything you can't see in the comments, jump into the description box and you'll find a whole bunch of links there for you to check out too. Darren's joined us as well, going, hey all, good to see you again as well. Same with Sally. Hey guys, good to see you too. The pumpkin is there in the comments, which is great. It is that time of year. That's why the decorations are up behind us. We filmed our Halloween special, which goes to air this Saturday night on Channel 31. And the first part of it goes to air on Monday night, October 31st on Channel 44, which is awesome over in Adelaide. So we've got a special thing going there. But that's why this is up. I haven't put my house decorations up yet. Have you, Dave?
No, the weather's been shit. I mean, holding off, hoping it's going to clear up, but I don't think it's going to. So I might just have to bite the bullet and deck it out.
Yeah, I think Saturday morning, because tomorrow night I'm booked out. But Saturday morning will be the day to do that. And then we've both got the long weekend. So Monday will be awesome. Be able to go and have the trick-or-treaters rocking up, and we'll have some fun with that one too. Are you going to actually, you do more trick-or-treating, don't you, than staying at home?
Yeah, we set up the front, though. We leave a little basket out the front on the letterbox with a little note saying, please take one, consider others, happy Halloween. I wanted to rig up something that would do the sound effect from Vecna's clock from Stranger Things if somebody takes more than one, but I'm not that clever and I don't have enough time. But maybe next year or 2023 is when the next season plays. So yeah, figure something out. Or 2024, something like that. But it'll still be in people's consciousness. But yeah, that'd be cool.
I'll see if I can help you figure that one out. There'd be a way to do it. There'd be definitely a way to do it. To dig back through my
people.
I'd have to dig back through my old degree notes for that one, but I'm sure I'd work it out. What do we got here? Is Dean saying ears still ringing from seeing Airborne Sunday night? Yes, well, Brendan was there too, I think. So it was apparently a good night all around. And Conrad's here saying hello. There we go. So good to see you as well. And Mel, Airborne, no way, where? They were supporting Steel Panther, if I'm correct.
You and I missed that one.
Yeah, it's one of those things, unfortunately. Yeah, anyway, let's quickly do the rounds. How have you been? Anyway, we saw each other for the Deep Cuts, but how have you been this week?
I've been good. Been good the last couple of weeks. Just enjoying the downtime. I'm not doing this, but still listening to plenty of music and getting ready for Halloween, which is coming up. Just found out I got a 5-day weekend, so that's pretty cool. And my kids are pretty stoked about trick or treating, so they got their costumes. Jade's going to be a skull fairy, which is perfect for her because she's very much her own person, but she's certainly got a bit of an influence from her dad.
Yeah, I wonder who.
So she's combined the two. But
Nice.
we've been watching Stranger Things. We're halfway through season 4, and she wants a battle jacket. So she's been going through complete discographies of bands so she can decide which patches to get. But right next to like the AC/DC and the Guns N' Roses, she might get a unicorn or something like that. She's just that other person. She's the only one that likes princesses, but will also do mud pies. So best of both worlds.
That's pretty cool, man. You take the win.
I am so proud. They're both cool.
Yeah.
But I'm going to Glamfest. Fucking stoked about that. I nearly crashed my car when I found out the lineup because I was at the lights and just like, what's happening through Facebook? I shouldn't be checking the lights at the fucking Facebook at the lights. And then the lineup comes up like Wednesday 13 and Eclipse. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it's a pretty good lineup.
Both of those bands are worth price of entry alone. So everything else is a bonus. But fuck, I've been hanging out to see both of those bands, so pretty excited about that. Yeah. And the other thing that's going on in my life is I completed my Chinese democracy jigsaw puzzle that I got for Father's Day. So, yeah, I'm one of those jigsaw puzzle people now, but hey, at least it's an album cover jigsaw puzzle, so it's kind of cool.
That's all right.
Yeah, really getting into it towards the end. I'm just like, yeah, really coming together. Done the hard part, now it's just flowing. And just that sense of I've achieved something when I got to the end. Oh, fuck, this is what my life has become.
Yeah, well, and wait for it as we get older to become more of the grandpa yelling at clouds and doing jigsaw puzzles on the porch.
I've been yelling at the fucking clouds the last few days. Stop raining, you bastard.
Well, yeah. Oh, fucking hell.
So how you been, man? I know you've been busy.
Yeah, apart from being busy, it's actually been really good. I did get a little bit run down and sick with everything going on, but nothing serious, nothing bad. Just a bit of a cold. But everything's been good. Been pretty... Just flat out. Just that's the only thing to say, really. It's just between the day job and celebrating Jodie's birthday, we had that was just huge. We had family staying with us, which is always awesome. It was actually kind of heartbreaking when one of our nephews left. He's gone. There's only one thing I've forgotten, and it's my happiness kind of thing when he was driving away. So I was like, oh my God. He loved being here with us. It was cool seeing our dogs interact with more kids and that too, which you know the history of that one, which is fan. Caesar loved Rory when he came over, so he got to see more kids of that age kind of thing. It'd have been funny if your kids had met our nephew and niece, but would have been a good pairing off, I reckon. But it was just a bit of fun having them kicking around with us, and brother and sister-in-law was awesome as well. They're great people. We love hanging out with them, so it's that was good. We did some camping as well, all that kind of stuff to get away for a bit, and it's just been hectic. Like, it's been really, really good, but really, really hectic. But yeah, everything's good. It's hard to explain what we did because it doesn't sound like much, because all you sort of do is come home and then just be with people kind of thing. But there was not much else to do apart from that. But it was sort of the good sort of company that you really, really want and that you really enjoy, having those things in your life, which we don't get a lot of, especially when they're coming from Queensland. So yeah, it was awesome to do that for a couple of weeks there. Aside from that, it's our daughter Tori's birthday today, so I'm not sure if she'll watch this, but whenever she does see this one, then happy birthday, Tori. I did say it to you earlier today, but we'll catch up with her for dinner tomorrow night. But yeah, like you, got a long weekend coming up as well. Got Monday off, so that'll be awesome. So yeah, looking forward to that. What do we got here? Got some more comments here. Dean's going, Steel Panther at Margaret Court was 3 rows from the front on Jared's side. Nice, well done. Nice. Jeff's here. He's going, hi, lads. Good to see you guys. Been so busy the last few weeks. I think everyone's been busy the last few weeks, and it's only going to get busier leading up toward the end of the year. We're going to be wrapping up production for our side of things early December, so that'll be what's happening there. Conrad's here saying hello. Like we said before, good to see you again, buddy. And we will do the Queensryche album with you, hopefully next week, if you're up for it. And Dave, if you're keen for that as well, I'm assuming. But we'll try and get Conrad in for that one. Cool. Mel's gone Melbourne only then. Oh, yeah. Dean says, Dave, I'll see you when Eclipse comes to town, so that'll be a good one there as well. And Conrad says, Ripper Owens gig was amazeballs. You guys should have been there. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I haven't had much time to do anything like that, but that sounds like it would have been awesome. Maybe we'll get your thoughts on that one next week too. That'll be a pretty cool little addition to things. Cool. Dave?
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool. We'll get Conrad on to talk about the Ripper Owens gig and to discuss the new Queensryche album with us next week. We'll get that to be a thing if you're available, Conrad. So we'll try that out. Anyway, let's get stuck into the new format. We're going to do this thing where each of us bring little bits and pieces in to discuss. And so the first thing we're going to do is what we're going to call our Song of the Week. So this is basically we troll around and find some new stuff or just whatever's been kicking around in our noggin for the last week. And so, Dave, let's kick it off with you. What was your Song of the Week?
My song was from Nita Strauss called The Wolf You Feed. Now, Nita Strauss is not just eye candy, though she is very much eye candy, but she's a fucking amazing guitarist. Mm-hmm. I've been a big fan of her work with Alice Cooper and her previous solo album, Controlled Chaos. That was fucking great.
Yep.
And it looks like her upcoming album is going to be half singers, half solo, which is kind of cool. So you get like a revolving door of singers. So we've had one with David Drummond from Disturbed, and this one is from Alissa White-Gluz doing the vocals on this. And I have to say, her tone of voice suits Nina's guitar tone perfectly. I'd love to hear a lot more of these two working together. I'm not sure if there's more songs from her on the upcoming album, but if that's the case, it would be cool. Cool song, really heavy, almost death metal in parts, thanks to the vocals. But yeah, the guitar tone certainly brings that side, which fits the vocals perfectly. Guitar tone's awesome, playing's awesome, the solo's fucking great. So if you like it heavy, if you like shred with an actual vocalist instead of just solo stuff, then best of both worlds. This is really cool.
Nice. Well, for those that are curious, there's a link in the description box. There's also one in the comments now. So go and check that out. They went all in on this video, man. I love the when you watch it, the amount of depth and detail that went into things like the makeup changes and that kind of stuff, the outfit changes. That was really bloody cool. Well done. Just the effort that was put into it was cool. Not a pairing I thought we'd ever really see or that we'd need, but I'm glad we fucking got it. And of late, I'm really enjoying Alissa going back to the cleaner vocal style, which is really, really cool. And I thought that worked nicely in this song too. You get the best of both worlds of the vocal, you get the aggressive stuff, and you get the clean stuff, which is nice. And there's great guitar work as always from Nita. She's definitely more than what you were saying. She's fantastic. She's an awesome guitarist. I have been critical of some of her work in the past. I know that you loved the last solo album. I was a bit more critical of it, but this song is great. I think the song itself is good. The production is good as well. This is. I hope we actually get more. Like from what you're saying, the album sounds like it's a half-half kind of thing, which I think is probably going to be a good thing because one thing I would like for her to do and what seems to work well is when she's writing with vocalists in mind. I prefer that kind of stuff more. But I would like to hear more from this pairing. But even if we don't, it's just a one-off track. That's pretty bloody cool to have. I love the solo in this as well. I know you should when it comes to Nita Strauss, but I love how that solo crescendoed and how, it led into the crescendo of the song. So that final payoff was a really nice little bit of writing there. Basically, if you like metal with melody at all, riffs, solos, and tempo changes, get on this one. It actually was a really good find, Dave. So well done. Nice choice from you there. I really do. Really did enjoy it. I thought I would like it. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I did. Does that make sense? Like I really did enjoy the little surprise you've got there. So nice pick up there, Dave. Conrad's in for next Thursday. Awesome. So we'll lock that down later on. Jeff has gone. Nina is fantastic. Her work with the Iron Maidens was great. Yes, Nita, I believe that's meant to be. Sorry. David says, eye candy and guitar solder for me. Well, yep, that'll do. And Ed Crushes, hi, boys. Love the show. Love the new Nita Strauss song, which is cool. Glad you enjoyed that one as well. And Darren says, great pick, Dave. Awesome. Shared that on Discord. Yes, you did too. Actually, very nicely done. If you want to join the Discord, it's in the description box. So go and check out the link for that. Okay, time for my pick now. Where am I at? Oh, God damn, I'm scrolling past things for myself here. Jesus. Here we go. Sorry, before we do, Vinny says my song of the week is the Corn song. It has juice. Have a corn-tastic day. Rightio. Puntastic. All right. For mine, I'm going to go with a new one from a Melbourne band, Ion Sky. It's their debut single, Round the Neck. It's in the description box in the comments now. So Ion Sky, the song is Round the Neck. It's the debut single from the Melbourne band featuring Jake James, who we know most from Lazarus Mode and from a brief little stint in Dead Star Renegade as well. So that's...
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's playing guitar in this one, so he's not on lead vocals. But I'll do mine first, and then we'll get your thoughts after.
Yep.
I was actually surprised to not have Jake on vocals more in this one because I really, sorry, my phone message is going off there. So no, I was surprised to not have Jake more on vocals, but he's much more focused on the guitar on this one. But I'm actually just glad to see him out and about doing, hard rock again, if that makes sense. It's been a little while for him. Another cool little video, nothing complicated. It's more of a performance clip, but it's got some nice effects in that. It's very well done. But there's some really cool groove changes, and I really enjoyed the note choices in this one as well. The way they changed things up to almost like key changes from riff to riff was a really nice touch in the composition. I really enjoyed the riff work across this one. There's some cool solos in this as well, which is nice. If you like honest hard rock with heaps of melody and riffs, and this will certainly hit the spot. There's a nice little surprise. There's nothing complicated in this song overall. It's just a really good, solid, honest hard rock track, like I was saying. But there's a little bit of a spoken touch toward the end of this track, which I thought was a nice little surprise. I did not expect that one at all, to be honest. And the more I listen to this song overall from start to finish, the more I really do appreciate it. There's a lot more depth in this than you might think just on the casual listen. You get this one a couple of passes and you go, okay, there's a lot to take in on this because it's really well written. There's a bit more depth to it. So I'm looking forward to a lot more from this outfit. And it's worth knowing that Jake did the mix on this one too. So well done. It sounds fantastic. So really nice job. I enjoyed it. That's why it's my pick of the week this week. But Dave, how did you go with it?
Yeah, this was great. And similar to you, the more you listen to it, the more you get out of it. I mean, it's cool with the first casual listen, but then you start to dig into it and start to get familiar with it. And just like this is a lot going on. It's 4 minutes 47. And there's a lot of changes, and the changes are handled really nicely, and they're really, really interesting. It gives a whole new level when that happens within the song. I had no idea Jake was in it. I didn't recognize him in the video clip, and I watched that a few times. He's hiding. Don't hide, dude.
And the funniest thing about that too, just quickly, is if you follow their socials, they did a screenshot of how it appears. You got the profile picture, which covers the banner photo a little bit, and the profile picture crops Jake out of the photo for the banner. So it's just like it's this conspiracy between him wearing his hair down over his face and the way the socials. You're not supposed to know Jake's in it apparently, but yeah, go on.
Okay, but yeah. Well, his guitar tone's fucking great. Sounds amazing. The video is cool. I mean, as you said, it's a performance thing, but they've got some really cool cinematography in there because there's a lot of backlighting and stuff with the hands that the singer's doing. Yeah. It all fits the theme and the mood of the lyrics. And the lyrics are really interesting. They've got some bite to it that you pick up on subsequent listens. And as you mentioned, the spoken word part with that little callback, the little repetition after each word, really, really well done. A nice addition to the song. Now, if you like, not kind of hard rock verging onto metal, but not like full-on heavy metal. It's somewhere in between. It's that really sweet spot that not many people can do well. This band fucking nailed it. And I'm seriously keen to hear a lot more from this band just based on this one song. So bring it on. EP, album, whatever you got. This is cool.
Yeah. Definitely keen to hear more. Sorry for my being distracted there. The smoke alarm inside was going off and I could hear it. So I sent Jody a text going, is everything okay? Because what happens is that Caesar hates the sound of it. So it sets him off, and he comes out and just goes whining and carrying on. So normally when it goes off inside, he just sort of actually curls up under my desk because that's his default thing, is to go wherever I am and just basically hide under my legs, which is hard for a fucking 60-plus kilo dog. But yeah, so he just went, okay, cool. But yeah, I just found out that, everything's good. The smoke alarm's gone off for no reason. So I was like, okay, well, Jody's taking care of it, which is awesome to know. But it was just funny hearing that go off and then C's running around here. I'm like, okay, something's up. So I thought I'd just double check. Okay. Rowan says, my pick for this week, a Polyphia with Steve Vai, Ego Death. Okay, send us a link. I'll have to go and check that out. I want to go and check that out. So yeah, send us a link. And we'll go and check that out for sure. Darren says, picked winner there, Andrew. Want to hear more from them. Awesome. I'm glad other people like that as well. I'm glad we're sort of 2 for 2 in this one. But Jeff says, Dave, have to ask you, sorry to put you on the spot, but did you ever end up listening to the recommendation I gave you of Silk Toxic doing the nasty? And if so, what did you think? Did you get around to that one?
Yes, I did. I did give it a listen. It took 2 or 3 days to get through the whole album, but I did listen to the whole album, and yeah, it was good. It's kind of like, as you mentioned, the Canadian Skid Row. But yeah, I'm glad you put me onto this band because they're kind of overlooked. I thought they could have been bigger if things have panned out better. But yeah, definitely a cool album, so people should give it a listen.
Cool. Well, there we go. So that's Slick Toxic doing the nasty for those paying attention at home. So that's one to go and check out.
Just from the album title alone, you can tell it's from the 80s.
Yeah. This was a part of a conversation that Jeff was having with us after we did some stuff with him.
I also listened to those 2 Rush tracks he suggested.
Yeah, and
yeah, they were all right. The lyrics were the vocal tone was tolerable. I mean, I know what he did if he his balls finally dropped. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, for once, some Rush lyric vocals didn't grate on me. Lyrics have always been good. It's just the tone of his voice, but yeah, it wasn't horrible, so I could really appreciate the song. But yeah, they were 2 good songs.
Cool. Cheers. Roland's just gone, I don't think that link worked. I'll put it in Discord. Yeah, it's in Discord, so thank you for that. I just saw it come through, so we'll go and check that out in Discord. What do we got? Dean says, Ion Sky, great start, good single and video. Saw Jake, who plays in the band the other week. Had a chat with him. Looking forward to more from them. Nice there too. So we're getting some love for these songs, which is awesome. But let's get into some hard rock happenings, which is like the news side of things. And first things first, we are going to discuss this. We have to. Knotfest has officially been announced. So what do we got here? So it is coming to Australia, March 24 is where it starts off in Melbourne, then heading to Sydney and Brisbane the following days. What is that? It is on March 25 and March 26 in Sydney and Brisbane, respectively. The lineup is pretty bloody nuts. You've got Slipknot, Parkway Drive, Megadeth, Trivium, Northlane, Amon Amarth, In Flames, Knocked Loose, Spirit Box. I've been hearing a lot of good noise about them lately. Story of the Year, Alpha Wolf, Void of Vision, Bad Omens, and Malevolence. So that is the lineup as is confirmed thus far. Pretty bloody special. What do you think of this one, Dave?
This is fucking cool. You know, it's cool that we're getting big festivals like this happening in Australia, and the world's unfucking itself and what happened with lockdown and everything. But yeah, I would go simply to see Megadeth and Trivium. They'd be my 2 standout bands on there. Okay. And fucking Megadeth for the old school and Trivium for the newer. Well, they're not all that new anymore, but they are a newer band in the grand scheme of things. But I'd also like to get to the front and get right in front of the turntablist during the Slipknot gig and say, learn a real instrument, you fucking poser. Because the turntable is not an instrument, and I'm not going to let that go.
That won't go well for you.
No, it won't. I'll probably get fucking crushed or lynched, but it'd be fun. Just for one of those. Yeah. But yeah, Megadeth and Trivium would be fantastic. But there's a lot of gigs I would love to go to if I had the money, and things are getting tight this time of year, especially with the rising cost of living. So I hope this goes well, because I'd like to see this being a regular thing with a lot of other festivals. But I know people are tightening their belts recently, so who knows? But yeah, I wish them all the best. I hope this goes really, really well.
I'm going to echo that. We need things like this to go well. So it's funny because Andy Dowling from Lord, put up a couple of posts today about, that's it. Complain about a thing you don't have any obligation to go to. So it's like, it's always funny when people complain about the lineups. I think this lineup's a fucking cracker. I'm not sure what tickets are going to cost yet. They go on sale November 7, so go and check that out for, the regular outlets. I'm not sure where and how and who, but actually, I want this to go really, really well. I'm going to try and get there myself. I'd like to see a few bands on this bill, but I just want this to be a success. That's all I want. It's only East Coast. I know there's people that we have that follow us that want to what they're going to be in Adelaide or wherever else. And at the moment, it's going to be baby steps for the next sort of 3 to 5 years, I think, in terms of this sort of stuff. And it's funny how we were talking about Download coming back, but instead of that, we get this, which is pretty bloody cool. But yeah, definitely keen to check out Slipknot. I've become much more of a fan of their stuff over the last 12 months in particular. Parkway Drive, definitely keen to see that band live, and I'm pretty sure I might be able to convince one of my daughters to go along to this one as well. And I know some people may not like this, but I actually really do appreciate on the bill Parkway Drive being above Megadeth. I know that sounds like a slight on Megadeth. It's not. I just like to see the newer guard rising now, if that makes sense. I like the billing, the way it's presented on the poster. It's a small thing, but it's just one of those things where I like seeing that kind of stuff where you see that progression where the changing the guard is starting to kick in, which is nice. Fair point. Yeah. What else we got? Spirit Box, heard a lot of good things about them, so I do want to see that one as well. Trivium be fun. I heard my brother might want to go to Monomath as well. So there's a few there. I'm curious to see what sort of Trivium be cool as well, for that matter. But I'm curious to see what Aussie bands wind up being added to that thing in the end. So it'll be a lot of fun to sort of see how that plays out. But we'll see what happens. I think you gave us our first angry react there, Dave. What we got here? Before we get stuck into that, Jeff says, happy to hear that all round, Dave. Good on you. So good on you for checking out the stuff that recommended. David says, great lineup, but not coming to Adelaide. Megadeth would be good to see, which is true. Roy says, just going to see Megadeth. Okay, cool. When you put up that thing there, that's when we got the negative remark. I think, Dave, no, brother. So there we go.
I have no shame.
Nicole says, Split not a great live, and I don't particularly like them. They are an interesting band live. What do we got here? Dean says, I'm going. Am I the only one who thought maybe Metallica or Iron Maiden or Judas Priest would be on it? I'm looking forward to seeing Megadeth finally. Interested to see how big or small the attendance is for this, being the same place Download Fest has been. Hope for more festivals. If this goes well, we need them. Yeah, we both echo those sentiments. I didn't think any other bigger band was going to be...
complete lineup, or do you reckon they'll add more in weeks to come?
I don't know. It is
one day, and it's 3 days in a row, so people were skeptical that they were the correct dates, but I'm guessing they'd have multiple stages ready.
Yeah, for sure.
You'd have to perform and then jump on a fucking plane to get the next day.
That whole schedule has been pretty worked out over the years, especially since Big Day Out was a thing as well. But we'll see. I'm not sure if they will. It's that whole, risk versus reward thing. The more bands you add, the more people want to go. But at the same time,
it also means shorter sets.
That's it, and more outlay financially, more risk sort of thing as well. So we'll see what happens. It depends on how big of a portion of the showgrounds or whatever grounds they're using, they're going to sort of use as well. It might be a fee thing where they have to use, if they use a smaller amount of the grounds, they might pay less. I don't know, but hypotheticals here. So there's a lot there. I think that those are the biggest bands. You won't be another announcement where you get another headline worthy band. I don't think. I'm guessing. I could be very wrong. I just don't get the impression this would be a drip feed thing like what Soundwave used to do. So there we go. Elliot, good to see you. He's gone, should be a great festival. Agree with Dave. Only like Megadeth and Trivium, but will listen to any live music, which is nice there too. Jeff says, anyone else think that Polyphia is overhyped music for mathematicians? Music doesn't need to be complex to be good. Imagine if they were the chefs. Oh, the mess of that menu. Yuck, not for me. Okay, cool. I'll have to check that one out for sure now. Vinny says, Megadeth, Trivium, and Lipsnot, but hoping to be surprised by someone I haven't heard of. That's always a good thing about festivals as well. Dean says Australia needs rock and metal festivals back. Really hoping something can take off from this. That's what all of us are there as well.
Yeah.
Conrad says we'll do both Sydney and Melbourne, even if just for Megadeth. Awesome. I thought you'd be in on that one. And Rowan says good things aren't the same location in December. So yeah, you look at the different lineup, different sizes, that kind of stuff. So there could definitely be more room, but I'm wondering how much they're going to pad out with, maybe Australian or New Zealand bands in that one there as well. But we will see how it shakes out.
I reckon Glamfest probably could have had a bigger room, bigger venues, but they're probably just starting small just to make sure it starts good.
Exactly.
Better to go undercut yourself rather than overcut yourself. But the bands they're going to sell out eventually, I reckon. Yeah,
it'll be interesting. Here's one. Dean says if they add Metallica, it'd be their chance for an Oz tour since they cancelled due to Jansen rehab. Now, that would be a neat fit with everything, but I'm just not sure. Logistically, those two things have fucking massive machines working around them, so I'm just not sure the Metallica are, he's gone, it's just me thinking, hey, it'd be great. I'm not convinced, but who knows? We will see what happens. Just have to wait and see. I'm just thinking right now it's a good thing that it's happening at all. So there we go.
Yeah.
Good things.
Be thankful for what we've got.
Yeah, if we can get, and this is sort of taking the place of what Download would have been, I guess, ultimately. So we'll see how it plays out. But fingers crossed, if we can get this one, Good Things, and Download back, we might be in for a good festival circuit here again, finally at long last, and we'll see how things shake out. But maybe Knotfest will be the one that takes over and Download in the end. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
I would do both.
Yeah, well, I would be happy with both. Good Things as well as doing well. Also, another bit of a sadder news here that I shared with you, Dave, last night that Floor Jansen has come down with a cancer diagnosis, breast cancer, it looks like. Now, I've got a statement here that she's put out on all of her socials. It's gone, a letter to you. Life comes in waves with ups and downs. I have had the joy of writing many highs and have shared these with you through my social media and the many, many shows worldwide through many years of my career. But now a new wave has hit me. Not a good one. I have breast cancer. I was diagnosed a little over 2 weeks ago, and I will have surgery tomorrow to remove the tumor. My prognosis is very good. It seems to be a non-aggressive cancer, which seems to not have spread. I will keep my breast, and I will be cancer-free after the surgery, plus a local radiation treatment that will take place 3 months after the surgery. We'll know more after the surgery again to see if this positive prognosis stands. There's more there if you wanted to go and find it. It's all on all the socials online. But yeah, just basically sitting there and going, okay, well, fingers crossed it all goes well. Obviously, the surgery happening probably sometime today as we do this one, to be honest. But yeah, we're just sending out wishes for a healthy, full, and speedy recovery kind of thing from this kind of stuff. It's always a bit dramatic, but yeah, I know you're like it's not about super fandom or anything like that, but it's just a case of, for me, it's just wow, you want to see these things go really well, but for you, you're a big fan of the band, so it might hit you a bit more differently than it does me. So what are your thoughts?
Oh, as most people know, I'm a massive Nightwish fan, and I'm a massive Floor Jansen fan. I mean, when I first saw her perform, I didn't know who she was, and she won me over during the concert, and it was just an amazing performance. But then you get to know the people in the bands that you like from their socials, and she's just a genuinely nice person. So it's one of those bad things happen to good people, and it's like she doesn't deserve something like this. But no, they caught it early. She got detected. She'll be okay, it sounds like. And she did an amazing thing by just going public with it and encouraging people to get checked if you think something is wrong. And we're pretty lucky in our country and her country that we have a lot of good treatment and a lot of early detection possibilities. So if you do think something is wrong, get it checked. But I wish her a speedy recovery and for her friends and family. Not good news.
Yeah, not good news. Fingers crossed we get more positive news over the next sort of 3 months. So yeah, again, just reiterating what you said, what I said before about it's wishing. I don't think she'll ever see this one, but if she does, we're just genuinely wishing her all the best, and hopefully we get better news on the horizon in the very near future on that one as well. Here we go. Dean also followed up with his previous comment. Megadeth and Metallica on the same bill. Bloody hell. That would be interesting. Over on Twitch, CMDR Ando, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Hey lads, keen for Knotfest. It's a new festival experience for us, and I'm keen to see how the touring circuit builds back in this country post-COVID. Very good point. Very good point. Well, I think we're all very keen to see how that plays out. Sally says there's a young Aussie band, The Witching Hour. Add them. They're good. They are a good band. Very nicely done there. Good choice. Conrad says, love to see Locals, Barbarian, and Ugly Kings added to the bill. They'd be both good fits too. Same with Devil Electric. They'd be a good band for that. We should we will do more on this in the future. Like we'll do a thing. We build add another wave to this band, to this festival. So we'll do something in the socials, but on the stream. Yeah, we'll work it out in a bit. I've got to sit down and do some stuff. Dean says they should add Desecrator to the festival for local metal. That'd be good as well.
Witch Grinder.
Witch Grinder would be great. Jeff says, did you guys say that Mick Mars has retired from Motley Crue? We'll get to that in just a second, Jeff. So that is coming up. Dean says, very sad. Cancer is a cunt. We'll say it. Fingers crossed for a speedy recovery and beat this. Also, Mel says, oh no, have every single Nightwish album, so best wishes to Floor, which is nice too. And Vinny says Mick Mars retired from touring, which was coming. Meanwhile, Vince Neil still struggling to sing every third word. So basically, yeah, those were the two we planned to cover off. And then with the same like the song of the week, we plan to bring in a news article kind of thing to discuss for both of us. So your choice this time around, Dave, was exactly that bit of news. It's just been referenced that Mick Mars has retired from touring and issued a very brief statement. Do you want to take over on this one, or are you wanting me to read it out?
Read it out because I didn't copy it down.
All right, cool. Mick Mars, co-founder and lead guitarist of the heavy metal band Motley Crue for the past 41 years, has announced today that due to his ongoing painful struggle with AS, he will no longer be able to tour with the band. Mick will continue as a member of the band but can no longer handle the rigors of the road. AS is an extremely painful and crippling degenerative disease which affects the spine. So basically it's about him pulling off of the road, which I think is no real shock if you've been following the band at all, to be honest. I was surprised he was even on the road at any point over the last sort of 5 years. So, yeah, he's not going to be... I know the band said they weren't going to do any more songs, but I'm pretty sure he'll still be a member of the band for promotional and recording purposes. If they do any recording, he'll also be doing his solo stuff. I know that's going to be continued on as well. But yeah, the Motley Crue are adding more dates to their quote-unquote world tour with Def Leppard, but it's not coming to Australia, so it's not really a world tour, is it? But anyway, that's the official statement. But Dave, this was your little choice for this week, so what do you think?
Yeah, Motley are one of my first 5 bands when I was a kid, so I've loved this band for a very long time. And if they'd followed up Dr. Feelgood with something massive like Use Your Illusion, they could have been my band, but they didn't. Guns N' Roses did, and things are what they are. But I still have a very, very soft spot for this band. All jokes and obvious what they've become over the years aside, but they were a fucking great band. And to see someone that you've known as a fan for so many long years get to this point, it's really, really sad. But he pushed himself a lot more than any of us could have done. I mean, he's known pain in his life more than we've ever won. Yeah, he's a lot older than the rest of the band too. And I have no idea the amount of pain that he's been through. I couldn't imagine not being able to move your neck just basically and still get up on stage and play. I mean, people say this band should retire, that band should retire. Retire from what? Ozzy retired in the early 90s because they thought he was sick. It turns out he wasn't. It was misdiagnosed. He came back and he said, retirement sucks. Retire from what? It's not a normal fucking job. You don't just give up your passion for music because you get older. And he pushed himself more than probably what would have been healthy, but
agree with that.
It's come to the point where he can't anymore. So that's really sad. The tail end of music careers is always sad for me, but if John 5 is replacing him, that would be interesting. So yeah, I reckon it's going to happen because this was a rumor initially and this has been confirmed. So more than likely, I think he'd be a good fit. So I'm curious to see what they would sound, and he'd be interesting to see on stage. He'll be interacting with the crowd a lot more, so it might revitalize. Not going to get Vince isn't as bad as he was a few years ago. He's put some work in, but they're not what they were. But I don't care. If they came down here, I'd probably go see him, especially if Def Leppard and Poison were with him. The world tour is a fucking world tour, people. But
I know. Yeah. I agree with the world tour stuff. Fuck me, that shits me to tears. But the sentiment there, I think he's 71 and he's pushed for a fucking long. He's been sick for a very long time. So well done for him making it this far, to be honest. And just hopefully generally wishing him all the best for whatever he does with himself. I mean, he's fucking well and truly earned it. John 5 being with the band would be actually an interesting draw. His energy bouncing off of Nikki Sixx on stage would be something else to watch, I reckon. So if that comes true, I think he'd be a pretty good fit. He'd bring something different to it, and he's just a quirky character anyway. So I think it'd be a lot of fun to just see that play out. We'll see what happens in that regard. I just want to wish Mick all the best in that with his health first and foremost, because that's the one thing you can't get back is that. So that's the more important thing. And I think while we make jokes about Vince Neil and a bunch of other things as well, at the same time we all do over the years. It's just for fun and games. But when things like this happen, it is always a bit of sadness with things. So hopefully we'll see him doing other projects. He did a solo not long ago. Hopefully he's doing another one. I think he's working on another one anyway. And if Motley Crue do any more songs, and figuratively speaking, he'll be on those as well. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, generally speaking, all the best, and we'll see what happens with the replacement. They'll have to announce it soon because the dates have been announced on the tours, so they'll be making sure that lineup is out there. But Nikki Sixx doesn't make bad choices in that regard. I'm pretty sure they'll find the right fit for this one pretty bloody quickly. So it'll be interesting all the same. It'll be a good one to see. But yeah, all the best.
DJ Usher.
That'd be not bad. That'd work, actually. That's not that. Actually, that might be the sneaky sort of dark horse on that one because he is in 6 a.m. So that might work. I don't know if he's doing much else at the moment. So that could be a spot. We'll see what happens. You might have snuck one through there, Dave. We'll see what happens. It'll be. I reckon down to it's either John 5 or DJ. I reckon it's those two. I'd be hard pressed to imagine anyone else sort of coming in. But anyway, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, both and Crew can start having harmonized solos and all that shit.
Maybe get them both. We'll see what happens. Mal says, "Got to go, Rockers. Have a good night and heat slated." I'm glad you're here. Oh, thanks for joining us for however long. This will be up so you can watch and catch up with the rest later on whenever you get a chance. So thanks for jumping in and saying hi. Jeff says, "Here is a question: had Crew stayed retired when they said they would we be talking about this?" Okay, question. No, I don't think so. What about you, Dave?
No, but they probably convinced him somehow to give it a go, and he tried. He would have tried because he's a musician, and musicians love to play. Yeah, and it's like Ric Flair getting in the fucking ring again at 70 or however old he is. It's not something you can just give away, whether your body says it should or not. Yeah, it's a passion. It's a lifestyle. It's not a job. So The offer was there. He tried. He realized he couldn't. So it is what it is.
I'd rather they go out on this term, though, if that makes sense, like going out ahead of time, going, okay, yeah, that's it. I'm going to call it a day. I'd rather do it that way than push too far, kind of, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer the question,
it's about his quality of life these days, I think.
That's it. That's the more important thing. They're human at the end of the day. They got to do what's right for them. They've done more than enough. But yeah, long story short, no. If they had stayed retired, we wouldn't be talking about this. So there goes that one. Dean says, very sad to hear about Mick Mars. I think everyone's amazed he lasted this long with the band and the medical issues. He will be in a fuckload of pain every day. Props him for doing it that long. Yep, there we go. Yeah. And Sally says, good luck and blessings to Mick. Dion said, 100% Dave, our legends don't know how to retire because it's all they know. Why stop if you can still do it? Look at the Stones. Well, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
David says, John 5, good guitarist. Mick Mars, 71, great run. Bless him. So there we go. Vinny says, I'm going to see Vince plug menu log.
Oh, fuck. I just picture him doing Snoop Dogg's rap.
Sorry, he's a typo, hoping to see menu. Oh, okay. Tom, good to see you. If John 5 joins crew, will this fail like Vi with Whitesnake? I don't think so. What about you?
Willing to give it a go. Time will tell.
I don't think it'll fail. I think it. There's enough of a definitive base for this, and with the other bands on the tour as well, I don't think it'll fail. It's a pretty good lineup, so I'm pretty sure they're set. Dean says, Richie Fortin to take over Mars. First thought of a replacement. I don't think there's a chance in hell of that. What about you? Too busy.
Oh, wow. Can you imagine Motley Crue with fucking shredding solos?
Yeah, but his heart just exploded and he's busy with Judas Priest.
Start my heart.
So while it would be fun and it'd be great for the puns,
wow,
it'd write itself on stage, wouldn't it? But I think it'd be great. I don't think it'll happen though. It would be a good fit, but I just don't see it. I think that with the new album in the works for Priest coming soon, they'll be busy promoting and touring that. I don't think there'll be any chance of getting someone like Richie to jump in for the extended duration of dates they've got going on there. Here's one though. Jeff says Richie Kotz would be a good fit. So there we go. That'd be a cool fit. That would work too.
Interesting, yeah.
It would be interesting. And Dean liked your little pun there too. So there we go. All right, I have one more bit of news here. This is my choice for this week. Speaking of Priest and Richie Faulkner, actually, there is a new supergroup been announced. The band is Elegant Weapons. It has members of Priest, Pantera, and Rainbow. Rainbow is a bit dubious, but anyway. So it's you've got Priest guitarist Richie Faulkner and drummer Scott Travis, along with Pantera bassist Rex Brown and Michael Schenker Group and many, many other projects, in Ronnie Romero being the vocals. And also the other sort of Priest tie to this one is Andy Sneap has been working with the band producing their debut album Horns for a Halo, which is due in autumn, so not far away actually. They say spring 2023, so autumn 2023 for us. A bit longer away than I thought originally, but yeah. So that's who's in this lineup. It's a pretty good thing. It's just interesting that there's a you got it's a good lineup. You got Richie Faulkner, Scott Travis, Rex Brown, Ronnie Romero, and production being handled by Andy Sneap. I'm assuming he'd probably do some guitar work as well. Why not? He's there. But just for me, it was my sort of pick of the news for this week. Another supergroup has been announced. It's a pretty bloody good lineup, and there's an album already in the works, which I'm pretty excited by. And I liked Rex Brown's Outside of Pantera stuff too. So to be I reckon him and Richie Faulkner playing with each other would be really bloody cool. I reckon those two would have a really interesting dynamic. Ronnie Romero is a great vocalist. If you follow his career at all, it's funny because Darren's gone, how many projects is Ronnie Romero in? I've fucking lost count. I have lost count. It is insane. You go through his discography. For someone who's not a household name, he's done so many good albums. It's not funny. It's a bit like Jeff Scott Soto. Just keeps pumping out albums and you never fucking know about him. So There's no music or anything yet. It's just an announcement that's been done, but they've already got the band name, the album in the works, the title of it, and the lineup all sorted out. So obviously taking it pretty seriously, but I'm very, very curious to see what they're going to do with it. But to me, sounds good on paper. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but it sounds good on paper. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I'll give it a listen, considering those that are involved. I don't know. There's a lot of currency in the name, so it'd be cool if a young band could walk into a record company and say, "Hey, we call this. We want to make an album." But because these people have their name, they can easily do that. And there's a lot of bands doing that at the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm really not sure how I feel about that, because...
Well, we'll get to Overrated.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to keep these two separate, but I'm curious to see how these guys playing together. I mean, there's so many great musicians out there. It'd be great to see what they would sound like playing together. But it's becoming very common. But people involved, yeah. But I don't know. I'm going to cop some slack for this, but fuck it. The way it's being marketed, musicians from Pantera, Priest, and Rainbow. Yeah, okay, you think Pantera? You go Phil, Dime, Vinny, Rex.
Yeah, to a point. I'm probably going to disagree with you overall, though. I do think of Rex. Yeah, but anyway.
You think Priest? You think classic Priest. Faulkner's a fucking great guitar player.
I get what you're getting at. I get what you're getting at. Yeah.
There's a lot of currency in the name, and I think a lot of these side projects go off that name. But a lot come and go. But I'm in this case, I'm curious to hear what they're going to sound like. I just think that these get a lot of step up from a lot of other younger bands. Yeah. When I'm not sure if they earned it as the band itself.
True, but at the same time, you can say they've earned it based on their individual careers to date as well.
Yeah. So, it's a grey area because it depends who the musicians are. It's like the current touring lineups of many classic bands don't consist of the original lineup, but who is that musician that's there? Who are you paying to see? Whereas in this case, I mean, like I said, it depends on who's involved. I mean, there could be 20 guitarists that I love all playing together, and I go and buy that with no lyrics at all. It was just 20 guitarists that I like jamming together. Yeah. It's all personal preference, I suppose. But yeah, as it is, this is an interesting lineup. So yeah, I can't judge. I haven't heard any fucking music yet. So
yeah, well, you got to hear it. Yeah.
It's coming soon.
All right, we'll quickly go to a couple of comments here. What do we got? Dean says this lineup will be interesting. Keen to hear some stuff when it's released. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Definitely keen to see that. And here we go. Here's one for you, Dave. Tom, good to see you, buddy, over on YouTube. Going, why do you think Axl brought back Slash, the name? So but it has weight. It has weight.
He didn't necessarily have to. I mean, Guns N' Roses toured for well over 15 years without him.
They didn't come to Australia though.
Yes, they did. I saw them.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, my music bowl.
Those years.
But yeah, the one thing I got from that concert is DJ Austin.
They didn't play the NCG without Slash, did they?
No, they didn't. They were playing much better, but they were still around. Certainly didn't have to, but yeah, it was definitely about the name. But Axl's got a big name on his own.
True. Here's this would be a question for another day, but just for the audience out there, who is the bigger name in Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose or Slash?
Depends what you want from a song. If you're a guitar person, then Slash. If you're a lyric person, Axl.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Guns N' Roses? It's one of those rare ones where I think the lead guitarist kind of takes it. It's like AC/DC with Angus Young. I think Guns N' Roses and Slash.
I don't know. I can't answer that because I'm too close. I can't see the forest moving tree. Yeah. But, fuck. I don't want to sound sexist, but, if you were a teenage girl that grew up on Guns N' Roses, you probably went for Axl.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but odds are. No, I can't speak. I never was a teenage girl.
That's going to take us down a fucking weird path, man. We might just fail on that one now. Hit the eject button on that.
You know, I know people that were all about Izzy Stradlin. They think Guns N' Roses, they think Izzy. Because
I agree with that there wouldn't be Guns N' Roses. We're going to get way into the weeds now. I agree there'd be no Guns N' Roses without Izzy, but I just think just as a who's the bigger draw?
Who's the bigger draw? Well, look at it this way. Guns N' Roses played My Music Bowl. Velvet Revolver played Festival Hall.
True, but Guns N' Roses played MCG only when Slash came back.
When they were both together. So it's one of those things. Collectively, they can conquer the world. Individually, not so much.
Hey, it's an interesting question.
Like Motley Crue. You know, people argue that the self-titled album with John Corabi is probably the best thing they ever did. They were playing club. Whereas Vince Neil comes back, they do a stadium tour. Even to this day. Yeah.
Well, there we go. It's an interesting one. What's in a name? Yeah.
Yeah.
We got some comments on that. Dean says Slash. Jeff says at one point we'll do Axl. Tom says Axl, such a mystery when he's not on stage. Edge Crusher says Slash by a mile. Jeff says, but Slash is. Rowan says Slash by a top hat. So that's a good one there.
Oh, man. I'm going to say it, Duff. Duff, man. He was the glue that held the band together. No love for Duff.
It is the whole thing. But again, you got to go back and get the drummer. Fucking
Steven Adler.
That's it. Yes, thank you. I couldn't get the fucking name out of my head. But yeah, Dean says 100% Andrew. How Angus with AC/DC, Slash with Gunners. That's what I think of Slash straight away. Says, are you sure about that, Dave? About
I was never a teenage girl.
Yeah, I think so. Jeff's going, Dave was a teenage dirtbag listening to Iron Maiden. There we go. There's a good pun. Tom says, when Slash stuff, Axl joined the Foo Fighters on stage. Who got the biggest ovation? Axl. Okay. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Brian on Facebook's going, Slash. Good to see you. Thanks for jumping in there. Vinny says, let's explore that.
Cobain would have rolled over in his grave when Axl joined the Foo Fighters.
That's true. Here we go. Here's one. This is actually really good for people that know the backstory, or not a backstory, but there's a bit of history here with this. Vinny says, let's explore that angle. Dave, if you're a teenage girl, who would you throw your knickers at? The reason why this question is fucking hilarious to me is because Dangerous Curves kept throwing their fucking top at you every single time you went and saw them play live. So who would you throw yours at, Dave?
I would have thrown my knickers at the pretty girl in the front row because I would have been a lesbian.
Okay. Well played. Wow. Tom says Slash other band never plays huge places. Okay, there we go. Conrad says Axl owns the rights to the name. Izzy Stradlin is the man. Yes, I agree with this one. People should think of the name Guns N' Roses when it's mentioned this. He is the one that thinks that way, or should be thought of in that regard. I think we'd both agree with that one, that Izzy was kind of the heart and soul of it all at the end of the day. For me, anyway.
It was one of those bands that collectively everyone brought something important.
Definitely. That you can't beat the whole lineup, but that's a given. Sally says, Slash, I'm a singer. It's Slash, mate. No teenage girl Axl thing. Always Slash. He is the epitome of both hot and fucking cool. So there we go. Darren says, Slash me, but the general public will say Axl. Okay, there we go. Sally says, Duff rocks hot as to Axl can fuck off. Here's a question that I think we both know the answer to today. Will Stephen be in Guns N' Roses again? Dean asked that question. I would say no.
No. You might get a one-off performance every now and then, but I think they did that few years ago, and I haven't heard anything from Stephen in ages. I don't know what he's doing these days.
His last solo album, I forget the name of it, was fucking awesome. Like, it was really fucking good. You were on that review, weren't you?
Back from the Dead?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was fucking great.
Amazing album. Go and check that out if you haven't done so. Please do. All right, let's dovetail. Let's go into we'll go back to the releases and stuff in a minute. Let's just go back into overrated, underrated, because we're here now. May as well do this.
Sure.
Oh, here we go. Quick question before we do. Conrad says, would Matt Sorum ever come back? Don't think so either. It'd be nice, but I don't know.
No, I think out of all the members that have been in Guns N' Roses, Axl hates him the most.
That's saying something.
There is rumors he had something going with Stephanie.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know the full story of that, but and his book recently was pretty scathing, and a lot of people said it was a lot of bullshit. So I haven't read it. So I think he dug a hole for himself, so I don't think he'll be back anytime soon.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because they've got the usual illusion thing happening, box set happening soon, so it'd be cool to see that lineup.
A follow-up question from Dean says, if there's a new album with Guns N' Roses, will they call Adler up to drum? I'm still going to say no. What about you?
No. They'll have the new guy.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't even think of his name. I just call him the new guy. While we're on the subject, what the fuck does that chick do? Why is she even in the band? She's unnecessary. Like a turntable person in Slipknot.
You know the funniest thing about it, in all this conversation, no one's mentioned Dizzy Reed. But anyway, anyway, Conrad says, I get the impression Axel and Matt didn't end well. I think that's what's basically being alluded to here. So I think what you got now is about as close as it's ever going to get. You might convince Izzy to come back on a studio album, maybe at a pinch, but I think that'd be the only one you'd possibly get.
I think if he was going to do it, he would have done Velvet Revolver, but he did some songwriting and then pissed off because he doesn't want the spotlight anymore. He's happy.
It, yeah. Maybe he'd be a writer. That might work. But we'll see what happens. Here we go. Tom says, I'd rather see an original 5. I see the original 5 again. Saw them in 88 opening for Aerosmith. That would have been a fucking amazing gig. Wow. That would have been amazing. Okay. That's cool. Alrighty. Anyway, let's get to overrated, underrated before we move on to other things. This is not going to take us too long, I don't think, Dave. We'll get into it quickly. I think due to the preamble before, they're going to know where you land on this one. We'll start with you anyway. So the game today is overrated, underrated, and it's to do with supergroups. Are supergroups overrated, underrated, or somewhere about right? Dave, I think we know, but let us know.
Yeah, overrated. Simply because it was cool 10 years ago when you had these all bands from this band and that band. Like Brides of Destruction was kind of cool. Yeah. Simply because we hadn't had anything cool from Motley Crue for ages. So Nikki Sixx and Tracy Guns doing something together that's a fucking cool album, that first one. But these days it seems like every other week we've got some type of supergroup coming along. And
Frontiers is this for everyone.
Yeah. And Frank Bello and David Ellison did something a little while ago. It comes, you give it a listen, it's kind of cool, and then it goes. And there are so many other bands around at the moment. I mean, we're not lacking in anything to listen to. We're actually sport for choice quite significantly. So, like I said, every other day we've got another band coming along. They get a big push because of who they are. Then they go back to their day job. And I would rather a band be able to be so diverse in their songwriting and their musicianship that they can do everything that they want to do underneath their umbrella of their main band. I mean, I'm going to mention Mike Portnoy. He's done so many things after leaving Dream Theater. Nothing has been as good as what he did when he was in that band. He's done some good stuff. But where's his home? I don't know, because he had the Winery Dogs and he had fucking I can't even rattle them off, but he's had lots. Transatlantic. He'll go back to this. He'll do that. He'll tour this. He's constantly busy, and I guess variety makes him happy. But he's not doing a stamp. He doesn't have that umbrella. But I would, think of Metallica. You don't have many side projects from that band.
That's because there was a rule for a while that you couldn't.
Exactly. I like Kurt Hammett's solo album, but he's not.
That was a great little EP.
Yeah, it was a good EP. But you don't see Kurt Hammett teaming up with another bunch of musicians and forming another band. They'll might do a small thing, but Metallica is variation enough in their music to be able to do anything. I mean, they could do another load. I don't think they would, but that's still part of their catalog. They still perform songs from Saint Anger because it's all under the Metallica banner. So I would rather bands be like that. And, Corey Taylor has 1 million fucking side projects. Mike Patton has, 40 fucking
speaking of people in how many projects, Mike Patton.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're an absolute diehard fan of this one individual person, you're not going to keep up with all this. And how many people still want Mike Patton to go back to Faith No More? I don't. I fucking hate that band.
I would. Definitely.
Exactly. It doesn't matter what side projects people get sidetracked by. Be diverse enough in the music you make under your home band to be able to do what you want to do. I would prefer that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to agree with you ultimately that I think they're overrated. Not because the projects are shit. There's nothing to do with that. The quality is usually pretty bloody good, to be honest. Some of it's outright amazing. But I just think that where it used to be a rarity, that's why it was cool. Now it's like every person and their fucking dog, and the term supergroup is fucking so loosely thrown around now. It can be anyone. And that's not to be critical of that. That's just how things naturally evolve. But it's just I just find that the original idea of what supergroup used to be versus what it is now has been somewhat watered down, the reality of it. And like I said before, the music is never bad. I've yet to come across, actually, I can't say never, but very, very rarely do you come across a supergroup that doesn't live up to general expectations. So it is a good album or a good song or whatever else have you. It's never. It's very rarely shit. I'll put it that way. And even then, it comes down to taste because some people like it anyway. So whatever. So generally speaking, they're good releases. That's not the problem I have with it. The problem I have with it is that it never lives up to the hype. Never lives up to the hype. Like you think about the people in the band and you get so excited because you think, okay, before you got, we got these guys from Priest, we got this guy from Pantera. Oh my God, there's a fucking great vocalist. This is going to have to kick ass. It'll probably be a really good album, but it won't kick the absolute shit out of anything else next year. I dare say that if we review it next year, here's a hot take. That album, when it comes out next year, won't make any of our top 10s.
Yeah. Because we're more inclined to go for our favourite main bands and to push a new band that we discovered.
But it's not even that. I just don't think it'll be good enough to push anything out of the top 10.
Yeah.
How many times over you're the second longest tenured member now. So how many times over the years has a supergroup made a top 10 list?
I don't think they've ever made one of mine.
I don't think they've made many at all, if any at all. So it's a very rare thing for it to be one of the best albums of the year. We average listening to 400 odd albums in a year, and very, very rarely does a supergroup top it out. You know what I mean? It's very rare, and that's across all of us over all the years. Yeah. I'm struggling to think of one. I might be wrong. I could well be wrong, but I'm struggling to think of one off the top of my head. Maybe Killer Be Killed would come close. The first album in particular, that might be where I might go a bit close on that one, but that's about it out of all. But when I can think of maybe one out of all the supergroups that have come out over the last 10 plus years, that kind of sells me about where it lies. They're good. It's not about them being bad. They're good, but I just think they're overrated because they never can live up to the hype that's generated by the press releases and all the way that it's been marketed. So that's why I'm going to go with overrated. So there we go. There's an interesting little conversational point. Let's see what comments we got on that one. Tom says that gig with Aerosmith and Guns N' Roses in '88 was awesome. So he goes, yeah, it was. Thank you. I'm jealous as fuck right now. Conrad says, depending on the supergroup, look at one of the first in metal being Rainbow. True, but I'm thinking more contemporary than classic. Roy says, Frontiers are pushing out supergroups like it's going out of fashion. A lot of just mediocre. And that's why I said before, I don't know if anyone caught it, but I said Frontiers are fuck this for everyone. Yeah. Darren said there was Rule of Metallica and her side projects, which we touched on before. Jeff says, and how good is Patient Number 9? I'm still listening to it, surprising me. Shit's all over the sick, the dying, and the dead. For me, something that goes to Imperative Album of the Year. Here we go. We're going to get stuck. Actually, speaking of albums of the year, we're going to be polling the audience very, very soon for the Audience Choice Top 10 of the year. So keep your eyes peeled for that on socials. Yeah. Darren says it's like around every corner there's another supergroup, and this is the general vibe of it now. This is I don't know, it might not be all comments like this, but this is the vibe. This is definitely the vibe. Vinny says, I agree. Pretty hard to knock over Michael Bublé's next Christmas album out of the charts. Yes, well, him and Mariah Carey are defrosting right now. So for all the Halloween haters out there, you want to keep Halloween around because that's the only thing keeping Michael Bublé in his fucking Christmas jumper and Mariah Carey's All On For Christmas on ice. That's the only thing keeping those fuckers on ice.
No, it's truly fucking horrifying.
It's true. Mate, it's funny because you noticed this as well. This year, we've had Christmas decorations and Halloween decorations in the shops at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking madness. So the only thing keeping Christmas at bay is Halloween. So get into it, folks. Roy says Traveling Wilburys. Don't know enough to make a claim there. But Darren says Killer Be Killed are freaking awesome. They are. Both their albums are great, but that's why I think they're the only ones who would really sort of push that envelope for me personally. Just on my taste and my listening over the last 12 plus years. Alrighty. do a quick gig plug here. I'm going to lean into it. So just for the gig plug, it's in the description box, but I'm going to put it quickly in the comments now. This is a gig we're actually sponsoring on the media side of things. I'm going to give this one a plug every week until it happens, just because I really should. This is Thrashfest, which is a festival we love here. We've had a lot to do with these guys over the years. This is one that's going to be absolutely fucking phenomenal. There is Harlot, Mason, Pure Envy, which I can't wait to fucking see them. The Ascended, Encrypt, Lethal Vendetta, Livewire, Thrash Bandicoot, Reaver, Warrior Within, Clarity of Chaos, and Rawtism. Good friends of ours. Keith, if you're here, then fucking let us know. But yeah, there's a lot of awesome fucking bands on that. We got bands from Melbourne, Newcastle, Warrnambool, Sydney, Wollongong, Queensland, and Canberra as well. So it's getting everyone over here. This is happening at Piledriver in Frankston, which is right around the corner from Nikki and Tim. It is on, where am I at here? Just going through the event page. The tickets are just over $30. So get on them now. And it is, where's the fucking date? Oh, December 10. Fucking idiot, right at the top. I'm out of practice. December 10, Piledriver, Frankston, Thrashfest, $30, just about a bit over that a ticket. Harlot, Mason, Pure Envy, The Ascended, Encrypt, Lethal Vendetta, Livewire, Thrash Bandicoot, Reaver, Warrior Within, Clarity, Chaos, and Rawson. That is going to be an awesome fucking gig. That's a great little venue too, the Piledriver. I haven't been there for a long, long time. Might have to make a journey that way, I think, in December. That'll be cool. I'm actually going to Horsehead the week before, so that might be a good one to punch me this year. What do we got here? Jeff says, one could argue that Patient Number 9 is the result of a super group of musicians coming together to make an extraordinary album. That's why I mentioned it. Yeah. I did get the feeling you were going that way, but it's more about, it's again going back to a name, if that makes sense. That's billed as Ozzy Osbourne, and Ozzy's always had he's had certain key musicians over the years, but there's always been something of a revolving door around the Ozzy Osbourne side of things. So I think under a name, it gets gravitas, but the supergroup is just, it is what it is. Alrighty, tomorrow is release day. Friday is release day every week. So we're just going to quickly go through our releases of the week, or that we're looking forward to. So Dave, let's get stuck into it. What are you looking forward to dropping tomorrow?
There's a lot of re-releases happening, but throughout a lot of that, I managed to pick up a name that really surprised me, and that's The Damned. I didn't know they were still around. And I know them from the song that Guns N' Roses covered on the Spaghetti Incident. I have to always go back to that. But they were also in the Young Ones. So I'm not really up to date with what they've been doing, but yeah, I'm keen to hear what they're doing this day, because they'd be like 1 million years old, which is kind of cool considering they're the Damned and they look like zombies. So that's cool. Yeah. But Fear Factory was on there, but with the album called Recoded, I'm guessing it's an album with shitty remixes, which I fucking hate. It is a remix album, Yeah, so in the bin, I fucking hate remixes. So speaking about that, and it's a re-release, but a whole bunch of Farian albums seem to be re-released. I've heard a couple of songs from this band, and I don't know much about them, so I'd be keen to give them a bit of a listen and spend some time with that band, because from what I have heard, they're pretty good.
You go through the list, there's like 5 re-releases, but then you've got Leviathan 2. So I have a feeling that might be the new one that's triggering all this off. So I have to have a look at that.
Okay, cool. Give that some further look. But it seems to be a big re-release day tomorrow.
Yeah, between Therion and Toxic Reasons, you've got fucking 10 plus re-releases there tomorrow, which is a bit fucking crazy to me, but all right. Yeah, bit nuts. Anything else on your little list there?
Nah, it's a pretty short one this week.
All right, cool. I like you had The Damned. It's called A Night of 1,000 Vampires, which is actually a live performance. I think there's actually a DVD go with this one as well, but it's a live performance. I think it was done last year from memory. I try to remember the press release, and I saw it a while ago. But yeah, that's. I actually checked out the one video they had at that time. It was actually pretty bloody cool. So that's on my list as well. I want to check it out because that'll be a lot of fun, if nothing else. Just be cool to see those guys getting back on stage for for the first time in a while, actually. Foo Fighters have the Essential Foo Fighters coming out tomorrow. It's obviously a greatest hits collection, but I'm only curious about what songs have been chosen to make the list, if that makes sense. Right. That's why I'm curious about them, what they actually put in print. You can have a Spotify playlist, that's whatever, but just want to see what they actually put into print on the quote unquote greatest hits or the essential listening. Joe Lynn Turner has a new one coming out tomorrow, Belly of the Beast. Joe Lynn Turner is pretty bloody good in general, so it's another one with a heap of projects or a heap of albums under the belt. So that's one to always check out too. Royal Hunt have Dystopia Part 2 coming out. Not a huge fan personally, but a lot of people do rave about that band, so I'm curious to check it out. But then there's also this one here. It's a soundtrack by various artists. It's Bound for Hell on the Sunset Strip. It's a box set. There's a lot going into this one, so I'm not over the particulars of it, but I know there's a lot of cool little tracks been dumped into this one. So it's a really cool, diverse little project to check out if you're keen on looking on some different things. So that's due for release tomorrow. So again, all these things are subject to fucking change. So if they're not out tomorrow, don't blame us, blame the labels or the bands. But that's what the dates we've been given are. So we'll go with that and see what comes out tomorrow. Roy says, looking forward to John Norum, Joe Lynn Turner, and Jaded Hard. Okay, I'll check out John Norum and Jaded Hard. Okay, didn't know that John Norum had one coming out tomorrow. Awesome. Nice. And here we go. Roland says, we'll definitely check out new Royal Hunt and Therion albums. There we go. Cool. So we'll have to do some digging on those ones next week, Dave. We'll see how we go with things. But I think we're about ready to get stuck into the main event of the evening, aren't we?
All right.
All right. Now, this is fun. Now, before you get at us and go nuts and go, what the fuck are you even doing? This is not about determining if one album is shit or not. This is a battle to see which one sort of comes out on top at the end. It's a randomized fucking thing about, okay, let's put a bunch of albums in the ring and see which one sort of comes out at the end being quote unquote the winner. It's not to declare anything as shit. It's just to have some fun with things and see how it goes. So we polled the audience prior to this for some albums because I mapped it out. We're going to wrap up. I think the last stream will be about December 8th. I think I put it on, didn't I, Dave, about that?
Yeah,
the
Thursday. Yeah.
We'll do some other stuff around Christmas, before Christmas and around Christmas and that, but that's about the last time we're going to be actually doing anything streaming-wise. So this ties in, by the time we knock all these albums out, the last week of the year for us to stream, with the last little battle of these. We're calling it Battle of the 50-Year-Olds. We've gone through a bunch of albums that turned 50 this year. We polled the audience, said, okay, what albums from this year are your fucking standouts? Put a little list together. And so, from different seeds, we paired things off. So just so everyone knows, the albums in the mix are Deep Purple Machine Head, Status Quo, Piledriver, Alice Cooper School's Out, Uriah Heep, Demons and Wizards, Deep Purple Made in Japan, Blue Oyster Cult, Black Sabbath Volume 4, and Scorpions, Lonesome Crow. Those are different rounds coming up. Tonight, we are going to decide whether or not Deep Purple Machine Head, which was the number 1 seed, will make it through to the next round by beating out Status Quo with Piledriver, which was the number 8 seed. So there is a definite tier thing going on here. So it is sort of mapped out, as any sort of thing goes, the one that's most popular or the better performing one gets to go top, and then it works its way down from there. So the top polling album, the number 1 seed was Deep Purple Machine Head. Status Quo was the number 8 seed on this one. So we're putting those two together head to head to see which one comes out on top. I did put a post up yesterday on social, which some people thought was, Nick, I'm looking at you, goes, is this even a serious question? So yes, it was in the context of this thing. It's not, like I said, it's not to determine if anything's good or bad. It's just to see which one comes out on top in the end for a bit of fun. It's an exercise in futility, but it's just something I'm going to do for some fun and generate some conversation. So let's see how we go. Shit, here we go. Sorry. Rowan says, I turned 50 this year, and while I'm not an album, I make a sound if you spin me around and put a needle in me. I think that's comment of the night, Rowan. Well done. Oh, fuck. That is great. Well done. Tip of that, sir. Well done. All right. So on the fan vote side of things, this was very one-sided. There was actually a lot of love for both albums and individual songs, but even the people that liked both lent heavily into the one way. So the fan vote went the way of Deep Purple Machine Head, so that was a clear-cut winner in the fan vote. But Dave, made you listen to both these albums. How did you go with this one?
Yeah. Obviously, it's not a fair battle. It's going to be Deep Purple. I mean, I fucking love the Machine Head album. And I heard that about 30 years ago, and I've been listening to that regularly ever since. Now, I heard the Status Quo album about 30 hours ago, and once was enough.
Oh, that's harsh.
It's not terrible. It's just, it didn't grab me all that much. I know if I grew up with it and spent a lot more time with it, I'd probably have a soft spot for it, but
I'd argue with you to go and give it some more time. I think it's better than you think.
Maybe. It just didn't overwhelm me at all. I can kind of understand why they ended up doing Down, Down, Prices Are Down, because if this is their back catalogue, they're not making that much money. Fuck. Whereas
you're going to get
really, Machine Head is just a legendary album. Great songwriting, performances, memorable songs. Highway Star alone is worth the price of entry. You know, whether it's heavy rock of the day or a prototype for heavy metal going forward, it's just a fucking landmark album in the history of rock and roll.
It is. Even the story of Smoke on the Water. Like, it's
just a fucking classic.
History. Yeah.
Frank Zappa, man. Anyway, yeah. The album just brings a smile to my face. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not a fair fight. We'll put it that way. It's not a fair fight. I did put in the comments when we did the polling online that, I did expect to be one side, and it is the typical case of whenever you get a sporting thing, the team has been the best all year versus the team that just sort of scrapes into the finals. It's usually a pretty one-sided affair. So Deep Purple are clearly going to go through to the next round, where they will face the winner of Alice Cooper or Uriah Heep, I think, from memory. I might be wrong on that one. I'll see how we go. Actually, yeah, there probably is that written. Anyway, we'll get to that in the weeks to come. But for now, the Status Quo album is actually a lot better than I think. It's funny because the fans love the album. I fully appreciate why. The one thing that irked me on that album was the cover of the Doors' Roadhouse Blues.
Oh, that was terrible.
I didn't mind the version. I didn't mind the version.
No, it was bad.
No, it wasn't that bad. I thought it was extended. It was extended unnecessarily. I don't think they needed the extra parts in there, but the vocal harmonies were a cool touch. But the fact that the song was sort of less than 3 years old and they covered it on an album, I thought that was a bit of a... It's going to sound really harsh, but it sort of reeked of desperation, if that makes sense. Like they're trying to try new things and they're just latching onto the coattails of the Doors. I wasn't there. But yeah, it just didn't feel... hearing Status Quo, I woke in the morning, got myself a beer. It's like, it didn't feel that had the same attitude kind of thing to me. It just felt a bit sort of lacking. And to put that on an album 3 years...
cool too.
The song was recorded less than 3 years earlier. I didn't feel the need for that song to be on there when they had other good songs in there. So I've said that, but Don't Waste My Time is a great track. I also enjoyed Big Fat Mama and All the Reasons. They were great songs. All the Reasons being a nice soft one. But Paper Plane, that's a fucking ripper. Another song of that instead of the Doors cover would have been fucking awesome on this. I would have really pushed over the top of me. Like, Paper Plane is a fucking ripping song. Like, that song is awesome. It's in the description box if you want to check it out. But I fucking loved that one. So it's a good album. It's a good classic hard rock album. And it's a band changing their style a bit and exploring new things. And so I don't think they quite nailed it. Whereas Deep Purple... I mean, God, you've got Highway Star, Lazy, Space Truck, and When a Blind Man Cries and Smoke on the Water on this album. I mean, it's not a fair fight, not even close to a fair fight. And that's not even incorporating the history of the album itself. Like, the actual song Smoke on the Water tells the story of how this album was produced, how the fucking studio got burnt down. They had to go and fucking film, record in an abandoned building. When I studied production, I learned all about the history of the actual album itself, and that fascinated me. And so it's really hard. But I actually think that whole album, like... It's funny because Smoke on the Water is a great song. I don't think it's the best song on the album. I would rather go with Space Truck and Highway Star. Space Truck to me is a fucking great track. I just think on balance in terms of tones, just the attitude in Machine Head, the bite it's got, it's a band more settled in its skin kind of thing. It just felt more natural to me as opposed to Status Quo was good but didn't have the guns to match kind of a thing, if that makes sense. So, yeah, it's 2 for 2, and we're with the audience in this one. It is going to be Deep Purple with Machine Head. We'll see how far they get. They're obviously going to get through the first round pretty comfortably, but I think the competition will start to, get a bit harder, especially if it is right and Alice Cooper Schools Out comes up against it next round for you, Dave. So that'll be interesting. We'll see what happens in due course with that over time to come. But, yeah, there we go. They're both good albums. I think they both held up really damn well. They're both really easy to take into. They're both really easy listen albums. There's no bad songs. This isn't about bad music. It's about which one sort of wins. But yeah, it is that whole thing. It's 1 versus 8, and one is going to come out ahead 9 times or 99 out of 100 kind of times in this one there. So that's where we're at with that one. Let us know what your thoughts are on that. We will continue. The next round next week will be... where I'm at. Alice Cooper Schools Out versus Uriah Heep Demons and Wizards. That's coming up next week. So that'll be the next battle next week. So that's a bit of fun for us all to have there. So give us your thoughts. Which one do you pick and why? I'm pretty sure it is the same thing in the commentary all along. Darren says, unfortunately for Status Quo, which Piledriver is a damn fine album, it's Machine Head all the way for me. There we go. David says one song, Pictures of Home, every member shines. There we go. That's a very good point there too. Darren says, sacrilege, Dave. How dare you? So there we go.
How dare I? You don't know me very well.
No, you don't. Dave doesn't have many boundaries. Vinny says, surprised Village People didn't get an opportunity here. Hey, it wasn't nominated, so there we go. Rowan says, Cole should get Deep Purple in for some. Never before have prices been this low. Branding. Oh. Actually, no, it wasn't Deep Purple. I've got my wires crossed, but just when Dio Holy Diver was used in a car commercial, I lost my shit years ago. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Jeff says, case in point, the first ever Maiden single was Women in Uniform, a Skyhooks classic song that only came out in 1980, the year before. I get it. Just this version didn't feel that good to me. But Darren says Skyhook's fucking awesome. Loved Shirley Strawn. Skyhooks were fantastic. So that's a shame that went the way it did. Anyway, we have one more thing to get through, and that is the classic album review for this week, which is the Patreon choice album review. So one review, and then we're going to get to the bin and get the fuck out of here tonight. So this is System of a Down with Boom is in the comments and the description box as your reference track. As we go through our classic review this week, this is System of a Down with Steal This Album. Hang on before we do. David says, Hyundai commercial. My kids love it. So there we go. I'm glad the kids love it. It's a great commercial, believe it or not. And Bash says, Deep Purple's Machine Head, amazing album being listened to for 49 years. Status Quo liked so much I only played it once and then sold it back to the record shop. There we go. There's someone on Dave's page. There you go, Dave. You have company with Basher. There we go. Well, thanks for jumping in and letting us know that too. Anyway, final call for the evening is System of a Down, Steal This Album, 16 tracks, 44 minutes, the third studio album from the Armenian-American band, released November 2002 via American Recordings and Columbia Records. Produced by Rick Rubin and band member Darren Malakian at Cello Studios in Los Angeles. 2 singles were released in Boom and In a Vision. Coming off the back of the wildly successful Toxicity album the year before, this album peaked number 15 in the US, number 56 in the UK, number 11 here in Australia, with a host of top 50s all over the world. Early versions of these songs were released online in a leak, which disappointed the band and led to the title of the album itself. This is the Patreon choice, classic album review of the week. So if you want to get involved in these things, check out our Patreon page. Whatever tier you choose to go for, even just $2 a month, you can get involved in the voting on these ones. And we'll see how we shake it out between now and the end of the year and then into next year as we go on. But Dave, I'm curious, how did you go with this?
This band's on some serious fucking drugs.
Oh, did you like Toxicity?
I can't say I've heard the whole thing all the way through. I've never really been a fan of this band. They've done some interesting stuff. They're different, but they're also a bit odd. Now, Chop Suey is a cool song. I do like that. But that's pretty much where I begin and end with System of a Down. Wow. When that album came out, I was aware, I heard it on the radio and everything, but by 2001, I'd given up on mainstream metal. The whole new metal thing didn't do it. I was obsessed with Dream Theater. So I really missed this whole thing. And looking back, I really didn't miss all that much.
Oh, fuck. Remind me to tell my story of this band when I get my chance. But yeah, go on.
Okay. As far as lyrics go, they go from the ridiculous, like pepperoni and therapy, to overly serious, like government corruption. And neither one of these things interest me for songs. Chicken stew, fucking bowl games in the refrigerator and butter's getting hard. What the fuck lyrics are these?
It's to do with advertising. But anyway.
Yeah, it could be one of these bands where if there was no lyrics, I'd probably enjoy it a lot more. But then,
actually, that would be an interesting. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah. But then even their musically, they jump from one style to another so often. I'm left wondering if I'm listening to the same song. And it's kind of like parts were recorded and then pieced together with Pro Tools afterwards, which is ironic because people were criticizing Metallica for their songwriting process of just recording riffs and then putting them together to make a song. Whereas something like this, I can't even tell when a song starts and when one ends. I know people think this vocal style is great, but I just think he sounds like a wanker. The song "Fuck the System," we're going "Fuck the Sis." Like assist? You want to fuck assist? I don't get what you're trying to say.
Oh, no.
This is weird. At least one thing I will compliment: the songs are over between 2 and 2.5 minutes. You don't have to stick around too long. I will give it credit for being a diverse listen instead of doing the same thing over and over. But I don't know, once again, if it's one song or the next.
Wow.
Okay, it's not completely terrible. Roulette is a pretty cool acoustic song. So if they really want to be kind of serious for a moment, they can do a song that I kind of like. And the Old MacDonald Had a Farm song, the E-I-E-I-O, I-E-A, fucking whatever the hell it's
the Knight Rider, did you pick up on the Knight Rider?
Yeah, the Knight Rider theme was cool. I did pick up on that. So I listened to that song over a few times. I did like that. On a deeper dive, I was asking why the fuck the first verse and the second verse were exactly the same. When you can write, obviously, a lot of lyrics, why don't you write a different second verse? It pissed me off because I was liking that song to start with, and then they fucked it up for me on subsequent lists. But yeah, this is probably the first System of a Down album I've heard all the way through. Probably going to be the last.
Wow.
It's not as terrible as I thought it was going to be. The Old MacDonald song and Roulette are my standouts. I gave them a neutral 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Just not for me. They're not fucking completely horrible, but yeah.
Belle's gonna kill you, mate.
It wouldn't have been the first time she killed me for the face no more comment.
Yeah, I don't think you and her have the same taste. This, I'm going to tell a story about this band. So when Toxicity came out, I was working at a pizza shop, and I was managing and doing all this. So when I had the open or close, you'd work on your own a lot. So I'd go in there, and at least like 2 or 3 times a week, I would blast Toxicity. And I'd go off my head. I used to make the whole fucking store when the other people come in crack up laughing, because I would fucking go off chops to just... I knew every word. I'd go off my head. I fucking thought it was great. This one came out to... It didn't get the same level of hype because it didn't have Chop Suey, for example, but it is such a good album, especially in terms of longevity for me, because I still remember all these songs. I haven't listened to it a whole lot in the years since, not because I haven't wanted to, but just because I haven't had time. But going back to it as a part of this process, it's like you still remember every fucking word. It's like, this is really bloody cool. And that to me is a credit to the songwriting. I know it was weird for you, Dave, but for me, I love this fucking band. I love this band. You might have checked out in 2000 odd. I hadn't. I was still paying attention to things, and this was pretty fucking special. Toxicity leading to this was great. Like I was saying, I love Toxicity. I used to go off to that one. But then this one didn't disappoint for me. I know it didn't grab people, but for me, it was still pretty bloody special. There's no other band like this one. This is why Dave struggled a bit. I love the dual vocal approach between Darren and Serge. The way they harmonize and play off each other, it's really, really well done. That combo is as unique as it gets. And their delivery, the venom in the vocals or the charm on the flip side is special with these guys. There's such a snarkiness to these guys that it's great. There's always this chaos about their music, which I absolutely fucking enjoy, which I find funny that you're such a big, sort of technical music fan and you struggle with the disjointedness. But for me, I love the chaos in this one. It's just something about it. Just like, okay, I thrive in chaos. Anyone that knows me, the more chaotic the environment is, the better off I am. That's how I thrive. So music that's chaotic to me kind of makes sense. I don't know why. It's just how I work. So, they have so much to say. The music is nuts. And they just pull it off. It's hard to do, but they're so unlike anything else out there that, that aspect alone is worth the price of entering this one. The composition is off its head. This is, you've got brutal attack mixed with, some absolutely beautiful moments on this one. So you've got anger wrapped in genuine beauty. And, it's just so good to take this whole in. The mix is fantastic. I like the use of panning in particular on this release. The whole thing is layered incredibly well, and how the vocals are placed really does sort of help this to leap out from and tell the stories of the songs as well. Rick Rubin produced this thing. I'm actually not a Rick Rubin fan at all. I don't think he is I think he's overrated as a producer, generally speaking. But this one, with Darren helping him, has been knocked out of the fucking park. This sounds phenomenal. It's just little overlays, little rhythm instruments, little bits and pieces. The attention to detail, which is surprising for me when it comes to Rick Rubin. It's just really attention-grabbing and rewards you, especially on a deep listen for me. The energy's off the charts across this one. It's angry, but still manages to be wild and fun. And that's the important part, the funness of the ride on this from top to bottom. It's rare for me to find an album that delivers such politically and socially charged content, but keeps it entertaining and not sort of bearing you down with the weight of it. These guys are the masters of that, and there are very, very few like it. Great performances all over it. The talent on display is fantastic for mine. Great riffs. Love the harmonies. I love the use of rhythm and groove on this one. I think it's brilliant. And there's great pacing across this album as well. The flow on this is brilliant. Not many slow moments, but they're well placed, especially more toward the back end of the album. This flies by. It's so easy to repeat spin for me. And there's such variety in the subject matter that you know, it all somehow manages to fit together, and that keeps the album moving too. But there's so much going on in this, but it's so engaging to me, which I found. Again, Dave, you and I are different in this one. There are so many things we agree on and we can actually have mirror-like opinions on. And then when we diverge, we go fucking wildly different. And this is one of those examples where you're sort of neutral. I'm in love with this fucking record. Great hooks in this. Like I said at the top, these songs stay with you 20 years on. And if nothing else, you got to check out the 1-2 punch of Fuck the System followed by Ego Brain. Like, just listen to those two tracks back to back, and you get the entire album in like this microcosm of like 5 minutes. It's brilliant. I just think that it shows the band's talent in this album off so well. Ego Brain, for me, what a fucking song, by the way. You may not like Fuck the System. I love Fuck the System. I think it's great. The weight in the lyrics is great. But the song Ego Brain, what a beautiful piece of music that is to listen to. I would love to do. I actually toyed with the idea a while ago of doing like a battle series between Rage Against the Machine and System of a Down. We'll have to revisit that idea at some point. Dave's crying on the inside already. Just that groan. But we'll see how we go. That's an idea that's been pinned on a board among a million other ideas. We'll get to it at some point, I'm sure. It may not be Dave, but we'll see how we go. Dave may opt out. But anyway, for me, I love this album. It's 10 out of 10 from me. I think it's fucking fantastic. My standard tracks are Fuck the System, Ego Brain, and Pictures, but there are no dud tracks, and I think it's an absolutely stunning release. I'm glad this one got the voting done in the end, but we'll see how the audience went with this one too, because I love it. Dave was a bit more neutral, but let's see what we got with this. Back to the battle for a second. Roy says Machine Head is a no-skip album. I agree with that. Yeah. Jeff says System of a Down, steal this album because they couldn't give the shit away. Ooh, I'm feeling things here. Ouch. Conrad says, I agree with Dave here. I never got System of a Down. It was too Mr. Bungle-esque for me, and I find Bungle too abrasive for me. Here's the thing, I like Mr. Bungle, so that might be why I like this. Vinny says, I can imagine Dave sitting with the Alf Stewart critiquing System of a Down. Flaming glass. Fuck. Jeff says, I don't know how you did it, Andrew, but your review has polished turd in a way rarely seen in the review department. Bravo. Still shit, though. We are getting some running in the comments of the night tonight. Well, it is I've got a lengthy level of experience in reviewing albums, so if my review polishes this up into something resembling something other than a turd, then well done. To me, I guess. Darren says, didn't think this was a real album when I saw it in JB. That was so cool, that part. I'm with you, Andrew. Great album. These guys are different. I'm not alone. Thank fuck for that. No, that was the weird thing. When you walk through JB in that back in the day, it had no fucking sleeve or anything. It was just a plastic.
Yeah, I remember that.
What the fuck? It looked like a pirated album. That was so well done marketing wise. Sally says, nope, I'm out. And Nicole says, not for me. So I'm feeling well and truly on the outer tonight. Thank you, Darren, for being with me on this journey, finding a special band. Everyone else, well, you're on Dave's side, so I guess Dave wins the evening.
I'm sure there'll be comments on YouTube. We'll be like, fuck that bitch guy.
We'll see. To help us get more comments, make sure you share this around after it gets released in the other format later on. Please do. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff really helps us out. We are done for the night. That does bring us to the end of things here. Hopefully you all enjoyed the show. A big thank you to some special Patreon people. So TC, Sonia, Lee, Bell, Conrad, Jeff, Jason, Brendan, 16x9, Marty, Sam, Trash, Carolyn, Gwyneth, Andrew, Daniel, Man Family, Adam, Darren, and Vinny. Thank you so much for your support. I promise I will be getting back more into the Patreon stuff soon enough. It's just been a manic few weeks and probably a couple of months, to be honest. But our Patreon details are in the description box. Make sure you check it out there. And check out our fantastic sponsors too. A big, big thank you, as always, to Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance. Find them in the description box. Find us. Follow us on your preferred social media channel. And give us a like, a comment, a share, all that sort of stuff. Helps us out heaps. Let's try and get this thing going. I want to try and make this thing as big as possible the next 4 months. And we hope you like the new format we're trying out tonight. And it's a lot of fun to see how it all plays out. But we'll see how it shakes out. We'll re-release this one. We'll take it down. Like, not take it down. The stream will stay out, but we'll clip it, release it as a standalone video on YouTube, and do the audio for Spotify. You can get our audio stuff on Spotify as well. There's a whole lot more coming up. Make sure you check it out on TV as well. Thursday nights, 10:30 p.m. local time, which is not far away now in Adelaide on Channel 44 on Thursday nights. And then you have us, 10:30 p.m. Saturday nights on Channel 31 in Melbourne. This coming Saturday night is our Halloween special, so 2 hours there, followed by a marathon of Halloween content, the last couple of years of Halloween specials. And then next month, we're getting into the TV side of things where we do THRS by request. Then we've got some other special stuff coming up, including a covers episode at the end of the month. And then we're into Christmas and New Year, and then it's all over. Streaming-wise, we've got next week, we're going to be doing the next round of the Battle of the 50-year-olds, I guess. And I said before it was... I forget what it is. It's Alice Cooper's Uriah Heep Demon Wizard. That's tomorrow. That's next week's little battle. We'll do another classic album as well, and do the games and some news and new songs. That's the whole new format we're going to try and roll out for a bit. And our deep cuts session is coming out on Tuesday night in theory. So that will cover the latest from Aussie artist Joshua Batten. We'll have Dave's choice. That was Avantasia. My choice, that was Skid Row, and we agreed on The Warning with their one as well. So that's what's coming up on the Deep Cuts release on Tuesday night. But I think that's pretty much about it, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of things tonight. And yeah, I quite liked tonight's format. Pretty cool.
It's different, but I think it's funnier or funner. I don't know how to put it, but it has different feel to it. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it flowed really well. The interaction's always cool. So, yeah, fun. It's always fun when people comment about what they like, what they don't like, and question us. So, yeah, keep doing it. It's good.
Awesome. Well, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun tonight. Hopefully you all enjoyed this sort of change of pace. It's a bit different. Here we go. Vinny says, very magazine-y. I liked it. Okay, cool. I'm trying to lean more. If you actually go to the deep cuts thing, we've got a question on this. And the short version of that sort of thing I put there at the end of that broadcast was that I try to keep this like the original premise of the TV stuff was to be like a variety hour. So that's what we're trying to sort of get back into for the live stream side of things to make it a bit more engaging, a bit of fun. Yeah, just trying to enjoy things, break it up a bit. I think people it's easier to get involved with everyone if people know what's going on or they can have an opinion in the heartbeat kind of thing. But we'll see how it goes. I thought it was fun. Darren says, great show, guys. Like the new format. Have a great weekend. The Warning are fantastic. Awesome. Nice. Thank you for the kind words. And Nicole, too. I really enjoyed tonight's format. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's actually really gratifying to get I hope everyone liked it, obviously. We're not going to win everyone all the time, and that's okay, too. But it's cool to get regulars enjoying the new format, if that makes sense. It means we haven't sort of lost anything along the way, if that feels right. Sally says, always good, you guys. Thank you for the kind words and the support. You've been great to us over the years. Really do appreciate it, Sally. You're a good egg. But I think that's about it for now. I think we're done. We'll wrap up. We'll get out of here, and we'll see you all again. Deep Cuts release on Tuesday night, and then we'll stream again next Thursday night to continue on this little series of episodes and battles and everything else going on in between. But for now, that'll do us. We'll see you all again very, very soon. Until then, though, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
Oh, hang on. We didn't do a bin. Sorry.
Oh, no bin. Oh,
what am I doing? No, we're going to do a bin. We have to do a bin before we go.
Oh, man, we can't not do a bin.
We can't not do a bin. All righty. Sorry. We're false abort. Here we go. Vinny, the bin. Fuck this rain.
Fuck this rain. Yes.
Fuck this rain. All right, Dave, what is your bin, though, tonight? Can't forget.
Okay, I had something completely different, but in the second half of this taping, something occurred that made me realize I'm going to bin this instead. Now, considering Halloween's coming up, that old urban legend about the maniac banging the head on the car?
No.
That one? Okay, so the old urban legend goes that a girl and her boyfriend ran out of petrol, and the guy goes off to try and find some help, and the lady she falls asleep, and then she wakes up, she hears this banging on top of the car. She gets out the car, and there's some fucking maniac banging her boyfriend's head on top of the car.
Right.
You haven't heard that one?
No.
Yeah, it's a classic. Anyway, second half of the taping. There's been a fucking noise on the top of my bungalow roof, and it sounds like either something metallic or something being sawn. Now, as soon as we go to credits, I'm going to go out and investigate a strange noise. Now, I've seen Scream multiple times, and I know what could happen when you go out to investigate a strange noise.
Don't turn left. Don't go left and up the stairs.
It's really kind of creeping me out. I don't know what the fuck this noise is, so I'm going to go investigate soon.
Probably a horny possum.
Good luck. But yeah, strange noises approaching Halloween in the bin.
All right. My bin is much more mundane. What do we got here? So we've got Darren says, just about to say, where's the fucking bin? Here's the bin. And Vinny says he knows the urban legend. I'll have to go and look it up now. Sally's gone. There's
a few different versions of that too. Okay. One of it is her boyfriend's hanging from a tree above the car and his feet are banging on there. The other one's the escape maniac is banging his head on the roof. I heard that when I was a little kid. That's the reason I am the way I am.
You're fascinated with it, so I'm not. Yeah, but Sally reckons it's her banging on your roof there. So good luck with that, Dave.
Awesome.
Conrad says Thor should be back next week. I said Thor says Conrad will be back next week. And then Darren says, "Don't say you'll be right back."
I'll be right back.
Yeah, well,
I should have been drinking too.
Yeah, well, you're in trouble. Vinny says, actually, my definite bin tonight. Here we go. Halloween ends. Expected more for a finale to the series. There we go. I know you're Dave?
I understand why people are a bit iffy about that, but we knew the director said it would piss people off. Yeah. I liked it because it was a different take on the Halloween story. It was interesting the way they did it, but they had to take some liberties along the way to get the story across. But for a finale of this new trilogy, then it is a bit, you'd expect more. But it's a cool idea. So, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I can see both sides, but it was a decent movie. I enjoyed it.
Haven't seen it. Can't comment. My bin for this week is much more mundane. There is this thing where on my way to work, there's a road I go down, and every day there's a landfill that's no longer used for general purposes. It's only used for sort of commercial purposes and that kind of stuff. So I've got trucks going down there every fucking day, dumping loads in and dirt or whatever it is they got going on. But that's not my bin. My bin is these fucking street sweepers, right? Because the trucks are carrying all this dirt, they're dropping shit all over the road, which I get they need to clean it up. Thing is, the fuckers do it every single day just before 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's like, fuck off. Of all the times to do when people are taking or getting to work and taking kids to school, that's when you want to fucking sweep the street, is it? Go and get fucked, get in the bin. That is the worst timing in the fucking world. Wait till fucking 11 o'clock. No one gives a fuck then. Why do it at peak hour? It makes no fucking sense at all. Anyway, those drop kicks in the fucking bin. Don't fucking do that shit. It's annoying. And because it's one lane each way, it really fucks you. Like, it really fucks you. It's not like it's a 2-lane road. It's 1 lane each way. And it's a major fuck. It actually gets a bit of traffic on that road. So it just fucks everyone up. Anyway, that shit can go in the bin. But that'll do us for tonight. I think we're about done. We'll back again, same time, place next week. Until then, though, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
And we're really going this time. So until then,
drink up
and rock on.
I'll be right back.